Hello, my YouTube family. Good morning, good day, good afternoon. Welcome again to my channel, A Word for Us Ministry and Echoes of Redemption, where we study, share, and apply the Word of God to our present time, our present world, and our present life. We will review and assess the life, conduct, and behavior of our ancestors and compare them to ours. We research, analyze, and study the Word of God for clarity, wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. As you watch, share, like, and subscribe, and help me to be a web witness for Jesus, a true reflection of his character, an example to all men. For today's devotion and exposition, we continue in the book of Genesis, Genesis chapter 7, verses 1 and 2, and it reads, And the Lord said unto Noah, Come thou and all thy house into the ark, for thee have I seen righteous before me in this generation. Of every clean beast thou shalt take to thee by seven, male and his female. Of the beasts that are not clean, by two, male and his female. So here the calamity and the disaster that is upon us. The calamity and the disaster that is upon us. And that was upon Noah's generation and the people in Noah's days. God, let's go back to verse 13 of chapter 6. Genesis 6 verse 13. Verse 13 of chapter 6 said, God called Noah and said to Noah, the end of all flesh is come before me, for the earth is filled with violence through them, through who? Men, through all the flesh. And behold, I will destroy them with the earth. So while God was here telling Noah that there is a doom covering the earth, there is an impending doom for the generation of his time, God goes further to tell Noah, make an ark, make yourself, and for the creatures that I will advise you to take with you, a shelter, a refuge, a deliverance, a protective home that will safeguard and protect your life during this flood. God said, the end of all flesh is come before me, because they have filled the earth with violence, and I will destroy them with the earth. So make unto me, for me, for yourself, an ark of gopher wood with rooms, and you shall make it of pitch within and pitch without, and fashion it this way. The length of it, how long it shall be 300 cubits long, and the broadness or the wideness of it shall be 50 cubits wide, and the height of it shall be 30 cubits high. and make one window to the top in the roof, and make it a 3-story ship or ark, with one door of entry, one door of exit, one window, one door. You see, I listen to the heritage singers. They sang a song, home is where the heart is. Home is where the heart is. My heart is going home. Though I never really have one to call my own. And over home there is so much more. There is no window, wall, no door. But here God said to Noah, make one door and one window in the ark. And the Bible said, God gave Noah other instruction. He said, I will send flood of water upon the earth that will destroy all flesh, all that breatheth the breath of life under the heaven, and they shall die. But I, God, will establish a covenant with you, Noah. I will establish a covenant with you that will cause you to come into the ark with your sons, with your wives and your sons' wives. And ensure that you bring some living things with you. And God also made provision of food and for food. And he said, keep these creatures alive to start over again. And whatever food you provide for yourself, provide for them. That's what God said. And then it jumped to chapter 27. Here, chapter 27, God is now about to fulfill. Chapter 7 rather. God was now about to fulfill the promises that he had made to Noah. God was about to endorse the covenant that he had made to Noah. And Noah had to play his part in order for the covenant to be fulfilled. God said, come now, come. I am ready for the covenant to be fulfilled. That's what God said to Noah. The word said, chapter 7 verse 1. And the Lord said unto Noah, come. In order for the covenant to be fulfilled, Noah had to step out by faith, just as how he stepped out by faith and built the ark. Now we have to exercise the fullness of his faith. God said, come now. You and all your household, come into the ark. You and all your household come into the ark. For I have seen your righteousness. I have seen only you righteous before me in your generation, in all the people around you. Those who come from Seth lineage, Adam and Seth lineage. Those who come from Adam and Cain lineage. He said, of all the generation, of all the people on earth, in this creation, you are the only one that is upright, that I have seen upright. You are the only one who maintain your righteousness. You are the only one who strive for righteousness. You are the only one that is victorious. And somebody should know, if there is one person in the redemption process when Christ shall return that shall be found righteous, that's the only person going to heaven. That's the only person going to be redeemed. It doesn't matter what your ideology, what your belief. If you are the only person righteous, you are the only person going to be saved. God said to Noah, of all the people around you, maybe billions, Because the Bible never tell how much children Adam have. It never tell how much children Cain have, how much children Enoch have, how much children Lamech have, how much children Mehujael have, how much children Methuselah have, Lamech have. It did not say how much children Lamech children have. Lamech begot 4 children, 3 sons and 1 daughter, and the Bible did not tell what the generation span and what the magnitude of the generation. It only tells that they are children. Just come the same thing. He said Adam had sons and daughters, Seth had sons and daughters, Enos had sons and daughters, Cain had sons and daughters, Mahalalel had sons and daughters, Jared had sons and daughters, Enoch had sons and daughters, and then he walked with God. Methuselah had sons and daughters, Lamech had sons and daughters. Only Noah alone, the Bible said, had 3 sons, and leave it there. So everybody that follow, from Adam down to Lamech, the sons and daughters and their sons and daughters, have defied God and stepped away from God. And God said, Noah, come into the ark, because you are the only one in your generation. What's his generation? The generation, everyone that born unto Lamech. God never said along your lineage or your ancestry. He said in your generation, all the children that born unto Lamech, the sons and daughters. So along from Adam to Lamech, none of the sons, none of the male factor was upright before God. They were called the sons of God, but they all betrayed their faith. So in verse 1 of chapter 7, God said to Noah, come, of all Lamech's children, all Lamech's sons, and the sons of your ancestor, you are the only one faithful. One. The one who had not mingled himself with the amenities and the corruption and the violence and the crime and the immoral living of the world. One, Noah. And he said, come, you and your household, your sons, your wife, and their wives. And by now, Noah's sons was born. But look at the space between Lamech, his father, and himself. 500 years. So all who live within this time, the male factor, they have become corrupt. They have turned their back on God. They have rejected God. They are turned against God. And God is saying to Noah, you are the only one among your father's children, your father's sons, that has all the faith. So come. God told him to build the ark, and God invited him into the ark. Noah could have gone about he's going to seek others. He wouldn't give up on them as Lot. The Bible said that the angel had to pull Lot out of Sodom because Lot wanted to plead for Sodom, corrupt Sodom. But here God called Noah distinctly to come into the ark, because you are the only faithful one. You are the only one that is just. You are the only one I have found righteous that walk before me. And with you and your family, this is what I want you to do. Of every clean beast, you shall take with you 7. Take with you by 7, male and his female. Of the unclean, and of the beasts that are not clean, or the unclean, take 2 the male and his female. So somebody should know that when you defile yourself with unclean beasts and unclean meat, you are just as defiant as the children, but as men who defy God. So it's not whether or not the meat is unclean or clean, it's your disobedience. Because the pig cannot kill himself and put himself in your mouth. The word said all the unclean should come in twos. You should take two, the male and his female. And what's the purpose of them was to clean the earth. But if you want to clean the earth, go ahead. Because God does not fight with any of us. God have a day of reckoning for all of us. I can tell you, if you find a man who said God fight with him to make his decision, he's under delusion. God provides means and ways and opportunities for all of us. Maybe your conviction is compelling because the Spirit determined that He has to sort you. But as the Spirit sort you, the devil is sorting after you too. And if you don't walk according to God's will, you see, God said to Noah, you are the only one of all your generation, of all since creation. After the death of Enoch, after the translation of Enoch, God is saying to one man, Noah, you are the only one that is righteous before me among your generation. His grandfather Enoch was translated. I can only wonder and imagine if I am walking according to God's will. And I would beg God to direct my step, to order my steps in His words. Living in a corrupt world like this, my aim is not to disobey God. My aim is to be faithful and true.